All right, so you're thinking about diving into Dork Diaries, huh? The first book, Tales from a Not-So-Fabulous Life.
That's the one, by Rachel Renee Russell.
Okay, so we're here to help you figure out if it's actually worth your time.
Exactly. And we've got like a ton of reviews to help us out.
Yeah, from professional critics, real readers, the whole shebang.
The goal is to give you like a full picture, right?
Yeah.
So in about, I think, 9 minutes or so,
You'll know for sure.
yeah, whether this book is for you or
If you should just, skip it.
totally. We'll cover who this book is really for, the writing style, what people are saying about it, good and bad.
Oh, and we'll compare it to some other books you might already know.
Yeah, like if you've read Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something.
That's a good comparison.
So Dork Diaries, it's about this 14-year-old, Nikki Maxwell,
Okay, 14.
and she's starting at this new private school.
Oh, I can already sense the drama.
Right. Lots of potential for that. And the whole thing is told, like, diary style,
Oh, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah. But from a girl's perspective, yeah.
Okay, got it. So we're talking school drama, friend troubles.
Awkward moments, all that good stuff. You know, those classic middle school experiences that...
Yeah, we all remember. Whether we want to or not.
Exactly. I'm sensing a preteen girl vibe here, definitely.
For sure. But I'm looking at these reviews, and there are some strong opinions, right?
Yeah, it's pretty mixed. Some people absolutely love it.
But others, not so much.
Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting to, really dig into why is that? Well, some readers find Nikki super relatable, she wants to fit in.
That's a classic.
Totally. And she's got this mean girl rival named Mackenzie.
Ugh, I hate those.
Right. Plus, she's dealing with embarrassing parents. It's like classic middle school stuff.
Yeah, I get that. But then you've got these other readers who think she's,
Whiny.
whiny, yeah, or too focused on, material things.
Oh, yeah, like wanting a new cell phone just to fit in.
Right. That's kind of a turn off for me,
I get that. It's like, if the main character is always complaining, it's hard to actually root for them.
Yeah, exactly. So is there more to Nikki than that? Or is she just, a whiny, materialistic...
So there is definitely more to her. A lot of reviewers mentioned how her artistic side really comes through.
Okay, that's good. I like a creative character.
And she's got a good heart, too. Like, ultimately, she learns that true friendship is more important than just being popular.
Oh, that's a nice message.
Right. There's this one Goodreads review that stuck with me. It said, Nikki's like that friend who drives you crazy, but you can't help but love.
Uh-huh, I know that friend.
We all do, right? And I think that really captures her well.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But what about the writing itself? I saw some reviews complaining about it feeling fake, like an adult trying to sound like a teenager.
Oh,
Which,
totally. And that came up a lot.
does it actually sound like a 14-year-old wrote this?
One reviewer specifically mentioned how Nikki uses the word phenomenon, which is kind of a sophisticated word for an 8th grader, don't you think?
Yeah, that's pretty advanced.
And in the illustrations, while they're super cute and manga-inspired,
I saw those. They're really well done.
they're definitely way more polished than what an actual 14-year-old could probably draw.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not exactly realistic, which makes me wonder,
Yeah, does that hurt the book?
does that, take away from its appeal?
I think it depends on what you're looking for as a reader. For the target audience, which is mostly preteen girls,
Right.
the fun illustrations and the relatable themes probably outweigh that slightly inauthentic voice. But if you're an older reader,
Like us.
yeah, it might feel a little simplistic.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got Diary of a Wimpy Kid for the boys.
Right.
Is Dork Diaries basically just the girl version of that?
There are definitely similarities. Both use that diary format. They've got a similar sense of humor.
Yeah, keeping it light.
And they both focus on everyday problems that kids face. But Dork Diaries really dives into those girl-specific experiences, Friend drama, crushes, the pressure to fit in. It's less about slapstick humor and more about navigating those complex social dynamics of being a teenage girl.
Okay, so there's a distinction there.
For sure.
I got it. But what about books like the Amelia series?
Mm-hmm.
Those also had a young girl as the main character.
Yeah.
And they had illustrations too, right?
That's a good point. Amelia is definitely a close comparison. Both Amelia and Nikki are artistic. They both use their diaries for self-expression.
Oh, that is similar.
However, Amelia tends to be more introspective, maybe a little more mature in the themes it tackles.
Makes sense.
Dork Diaries keeps things lighter, more focused on those relatable, often funny school situations.
So you've got your, like, deeper, more introspective
Yeah.
Amelia,
Yeah.
and then your lighter, funnier Dork Diaries.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got a handle on the target audience, the writing style, and we even made some comparisons. Now, I got to ask about this mean girl antagonist you mentioned, Mackenzie.
Right.
Does that feel, like, kind of overdone to you?
It's a valid question.
Is that still a relevant theme for middle schoolers today?
Yeah. Is the mean girl trope still a thing? I mean, every generation experiences middle school differently, right?
Sure.
But the core anxieties are probably pretty timeless. Fitting in, dealing with bullies, figuring out where you belong in the social hierarchy.
I guess those are pretty universal.
Totally. And Mackenzie, as the popular girl antagonist, she really embodies those challenges for Nikki.
So it's less about her being, like, a realistic character.
Yeah.
And more about what she represents.
Exactly. Whether she's spreading rumors or sabotaging Nikki's efforts, she represents that pressure to conform, the fear of being ostracized.
I see, I see. But is Nikki just a passive victim to all this? Does she just let Mackenzie walk all over her?
Oh, no, not at all. Nikki actually finds ways to stand up to Mackenzie, often using her wit and creativity.
Okay, good. I like that.
And throughout the book, she learns that, like, true friends and staying true to herself are way more important than chasing popularity.
Yeah, I was hoping for that.
She realizes that fitting in shouldn't come at the cost of her own identity.
I like that. So even though the mean girl might feel familiar,
It's a classic.
it's how Nikki responds and grows from those experiences that keeps things interesting and relatable.
Exactly. It's less about the cliche and more about Nikki's journey of self-discovery.
I like that.
In fact, one of the most insightful reviews I found talked about how Nikki's story actually helped them deal with a similar situation in their own life, like with a real-life mean girl.
Oh, wow.
They said reading Dork Diaries showed them that they weren't alone and that it's possible to find your own strength even when you're being bullied.
That's pretty powerful.
Right. It makes you realize that this book offers more than just silly middle school antics.
Yeah, for sure. It's about finding yourself, learning to value true friendships, and realizing that popularity isn't everything.
Precisely. And that brings us to, like, the big question.
The million-dollar question.
Is this book worth your time? Okay, so the big question.
Yeah,
Is Dork Diaries worth your time? And here's the thing. If you're looking for, like, really deep characters or plot twists that blow your mind,
yeah, like edge of your seat stuff.
Dork Diaries might not be for you. But if you enjoy, like, lighthearted humor, those relatable middle school struggles, and maybe a little bit of wish fulfillment, like, it can be a fun read.
Okay, so it's about managing those expectations, right?
Totally.
But before we finish up, I want to, like, go back to that true friends over popularity theme for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Because some reviewers thought it was a bit cliche.
Yeah, I saw that.
Does the book, like, handle that in a fresh way, or is it just, like, rehashing the same old?
That's a good point. It is a common theme, right? That whole be yourself message.
Right.
But what I found interesting is how Nikki's journey actually plays out. Like, she starts off wanting so badly to be part of the CCP crowd, the cool, cute, and popular girls.
Classic.
Right. And she thinks having the right clothes, the latest cell phone, and Mackenzie's approval will, like, make her happy.
Oh, I see.
But as the story goes on, she starts to see that all that stuff is actually pretty superficial.
So she has a kind of aha moment, like a realization.
Yeah, it's not a sudden thing, but more like a gradual realization through what she experiences. She discovers that her real friends, Chloe and Zoe, accept her for who she is.
Dorky quirks and all.
Exactly. They support her artistic talents, and they help her see that being popular isn't actually everything.
Which is a good lesson.
It is, especially at that age. And there's even the scene where they actually enter her artwork into the school competition because she's too nervous to do it herself.
Oh, that's sweet. That's true friendship right there.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just telling us the message, it's actually showing us through those actions.
So even if the theme itself is kind of familiar, the way they work it into Nikki's experiences, her relationships.
It makes it feel fresh.
Yeah, and relatable.
Exactly. It's not just preachy, it actually feels genuine. The book really emphasizes that true friendship is about support, acceptance, and celebrating each other's, uniqueness.
I like that.
And it's a message that resonates, especially for those young readers who are dealing with similar social pressures.
Yeah, figuring out who your real friends are.
Totally. So, yeah, it's not just a superficial story about a girl who wants to be popular.
Right. There's more to it than that.
It's about embracing who you are as an individual and finding your own path.
Your own way.
Yeah. Realizing that real happiness comes from being authentically you, not trying to fit some mold that someone else made.
Okay, I like that. That's empowering.
Absolutely. And that's what a lot of reviewers really liked about it, too. They liked how the book didn't shy away from showing the awkwardness, the insecurities that come with being a teenager. But ultimately, it offers a hopeful, uplifting message about self-acceptance and, the power of true friends.
So we've covered the good, the bad, and the heartwarming stuff in Dork Diaries. We looked at the target audience, the writing style, those core themes.
We compared it to other books.
So I compared it to some similar books, too. So now for the real question. Would you personally recommend this book?
That's a good one. Here's my take. If you're looking for a light and entertaining story with a positive message, especially if you're a preteen girl or, a preteen girl.
Yeah, maybe you're buying this for your niece.
Yeah, or your daughter.
Friend's kid.
Exactly. Give Dark Diaries a try. It might surprise you. But if you're looking for complex characters or like a really thought-provoking plot,
You want to be challenged.
yeah, you might want to choose something else. It's important to know what you're getting into, right? This is geared toward a younger audience.
Right, so manage those expectations.
Exactly. While it has those life lessons and heartwarming moments, it doesn't get into like deep philosophical questions or anything like that.
So the right book for the right reader, right?
Yeah. And sometimes you just need a feel-good story, and Dork Diaries delivers that. It reminds us that even when things are awkward and you're dealing with all those social pressures,
Middle school is rough.
there's beauty in just being yourself, finding your people.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we've looked at this from all sides.
We did a deep dive.
Now it's up to our listener to decide if Dork Diaries is for them. But before we let you go, I have one last question for you.
Hit me.
If you were Nikki, how would you deal with Mackenzie?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah, like put yourself in her shoes. What would you do?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's no easy answer, right?
Right.
It's interesting because the book doesn't give you like one clear solution.
Yeah.
Nikki tries different things. Like she tries to ignore Mackenzie.
The silent treatment?
Yeah, then she tries to like outsmart her.
Play the game?
Exactly. At one point, she even tries to become friends with her. Which...
Oh, wow. Bold move.
Right. But each approach like has its own consequences.
So there's no magic formula for dealing with a mean girl?
No, not really. And I think that's actually kind of realistic, The book recognizes that bullying is complicated.
Yeah.
There's no easy fix. It's often about like trying things out and seeing what works, what doesn't.
Trial and error.
Yeah. But ultimately, Nikki figures out that the best way to handle it is to just stay true to herself and to rely on the support of those real friends.
Her tribe.
Yeah. Chloe and Zoe.
So it's not just about like defeating the bully. It's about finding your own inner strength.
Exactly. And that's a message that applies to so much more than just middle school drama.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, we all deal with difficult people sometimes, right?
Right.
People who try to bring us down.
For sure. And I think Dork Diaries reminds us that we have choices in how we react to those situations.
We don't have to let them control us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can choose to rise above and find our own way.
And sometimes that way might involve a little bit of dorkiness,
Yeah.
embracing what makes us unique.
Right. And, sometimes those imperfections, those quirky parts of ourselves.
That's what makes us interesting.
Exactly. And maybe even like sharing those parts of ourselves with others.
Like writing our own Dork Diaries.
Totally. It can make us realize that we're not alone. Everyone's got their own awkward moments.
That's a great thought. Thanks for joining us today on this deep dive into Dork Diaries. We hope you've learned something new and maybe discovered a book you want to check out.
Definitely.
Until next time, happy reading, everyone.